All right, so let's get into it. How to grow your online coaching business to 10K months. And this is for you specifically if you are maybe hovering around 2 to 3K. Maybe some months are a little bit more. Maybe you've hit 10K, but you can't get there consistently. There's a specific reason, and getting to 10K months is actually easy when you simplify. We tend to just overcomplicate things. We tend to think that a lot more is required in order to hit those numbers, which ends up just causing chaos, and we keep doing different things to try to get there. So I'm going to break it down super simply for you, and I'm going to break down some numbers so that you can actually see how some of the things that you've been doing are probably causing you to stay stuck and to stay trapped in this rat race of not fully getting to those 10K months. Honestly, this could also apply for 20K months and beyond. So whether you are just starting, you've got a little bit of momentum, this is going to be really valuable for you. Now, if you are just beginning, you don't have a business, then I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to hit those numbers in a quick period of time. But it all really just depends on your work ethic and what you're really willing to put in. So, how to grow your online business 10K months in 3/4 steps. So, number one is to create a valuable offer. Number two is to grow your audience. And number three is to launch/sell. And then, as you can see, step number four is repeat. Now, let me go through each one of these things for you. So, your valuable offer. Now, the reason why I say this is because there used to be a time online when you could just create any offer and people would be willing to buy it. You could create the things that you wanted to create. Now, people are having a lot more discernment. People are smarter buyers. There's also a ton of different options. So you have to design an offer that people actually want to buy. People actually want to invest in this thing. So you may have to do a little bit of market research, see what people are spending money on, see what's working for your audience. If you have one, if you're looking to expand your audience or go to the next level with your audience, then you definitely want to do some market research to see what those people are paying for and what they're actually looking to invest in to serve their specific needs. It's not about you anymore. It has to be about your people and what they're willing to invest in. You could have in your mind the best offer on the planet in your eyes, but if it's not something that your people want, then it's obviously not going to sell. Next, you want to get clarity in the messaging around that offer. So your messaging, again, is going to be something that is going to stand out or has to stand out because there's so many people online. There's so many different options. There's so many people doing what you do. And I really don't think that there's anybody who is so unique to everybody else online that you are the only person that's selling this one thing. So you have to remember other people are selling very similar things, the same things. Even if yours is slightly different, they're still selling the same things to the same people. So your messaging has to be really potent. Your messaging has to be really clear, meaning you have to know exactly who this is for. Like, who is that ideal client? Again, we have to know that who these people are and what they actually want. We can't just go out there and wing it and launch and say, this is for everyone. This has to be for somebody specific. They're experiencing a specific problem. They're looking to solve it in a specific way. They're in a specific place in their business. They're in a specific place in their relationship or their health or whatever it is that you help people with. So who is it for? Why do they need it? And why do they need it from you? This is going to be an important piece too. So your experience, your skills, your expertise, that's all going to come into play as well with the why do they need it from you when they have a million literally different options. For the offer, I actually recommend a mid-ticket offer that's anywhere between $500 and $2,000. Now, I'm going to actually show you why and give you a breakdown at the end of this video, but a lot of people will have you think that you need to have a low ticket offer and you should be launching something that's like $100 or start small and then work your way up. I always go from high to low, especially when you're just building your audience and you don't have a lot of people. Low ticket should be reserved for when you have a bigger audience, and at the end of the video, you'll understand exactly why. Okay, so the next step is growing your audience. So this is a piece that so many people just get wrong, just don't really pay attention to, and they end up struggling. Not because their offer isn't good, not because the content that they're putting out there isn't good, but because they don't have a big enough audience. They don't have enough eyeballs on that offer. So you spend all this time creating content, you spend all this time coming up with an amazing offer, but then you have no one literally to sell to. Again, you can have the most amazing offer, you can have the most potent content, but if no one is actually in your audience that you can sell to, then you're going to remain on this hamster wheel. I recommend 2 ways for 2024, and number 1 is borrowed, and that would be through features and partnerships. Number 2 is through ads and sponsorships. I'll go a little bit into detail into what these are, but I do have some other videos that break this down a little bit further. Don't waste your time posting on social media without a strategy. Don't waste your time trying to build from scratch on social media without having some sort of content, marketing, and sales strategy in place to build that up. It's just not going to work in 2024. There may be some people that can cut through the noise and they're what I call the unicorns, but the reality is 99% of people cannot do this. 99% of people are not creating viral content. 99% of people are not able to build quickly online on social media only without doing the steps number 1 and 2 here. And it's not like it was in 2015, 2016, 2017, where you could kind of cut through the noise and you could do the bare minimum and you would be able to grow your audience. It is much more difficult now. So my recommendations are, number 1 is to build your audience by borrowing someone else's. So this would be through features, getting featured in to somebody else's audience, doing a JV partnership, getting on a podcast, doing guest posts, even being in summits, interview series, anything where you can get your expertise, your voice, your face in front of an already built audience. Because not only are you going to get exposure for free most of the time to people who are your ideal client, but the trust factor that takes a long time to build online from somebody who doesn't know you at all is literally slashed in half, if not more, because whoever is featuring you or whoever is partnering with you is vouching for you. So that creates an immediate trust. And this is actually my favorite way to grow your audience. Number 2 would be through investing in ads and sponsorships. There was a time where I felt like, okay, not everybody needs to do ads, but truly going into 2024, you are going to want to think about an ad strategy. You're going to want to think about maybe getting a sponsorship or paying for some sort of feature on a platform, again, that already has an audience. There is nothing wrong with this. I know a lot of people get on their high horse about organic only, but the reality is going into 2024, you want more eyeballs on your business. This is the way to do it. And you can actually put a strategy in place that is between $3 and $5 a day, which is not a lot of money. That's, $150, $90 to $150 a month. I'm sure that you're spending that money or wasting that money on something that's not even going to give you a return. So going into 2024, you want to make sure that you have an actual strategy in place to grow your audience so you actually have people to sell to. Again, don't be wasting your time on social media without a specific strategy or without something to boost it and leverage it and amplify it. In my partnership course, Monetize Your Inbox, we show you exactly how to do this, how to create the content, how to amplify it with ads, how to get other people to promote your stuff. All right, next step is launch. So I actually have launch/sell here because there are some people who just want to sell ongoing. They don't want to launch all the time. But essentially, now that we have clarity on our offer, we have somebody to sell it to. we are going to launch. So we're going to put that thing out there. Remember, we're talking about a $500 to $2,000 offer. You can obviously go a little bit higher if you want. I really wouldn't recommend going lower because it's not going to work for you. It's not going to be profitable for you in the long run, and it's going to be really hard for you to get to those 10K months. I also recommend running this as a beta the first time. So what I mean by that is you are running the program for the first time with the what I call first class, and it's a beta, which means it's probably at a lower price than what it's going to ultimately be. So if you're charging maybe $1,500 or $2,000 now, it might end up being a $3,000 course. It might end up being a $5,000 program. So I like to always run a beta first, and what this allows me to do is a run of the program, get valuable feedback from my audience and the people that said yes. It's also giving them a perk because they get more access to me. They get perks that aren't going to be available later on. They get a lower price in exchange for giving me feedback. That means I can take that offer, I can make it better, I can see why people purchased it, I can ask all different types of questions and get tons of different feedback to make my offer better. Then, once that's done, I relaunch. Again, through this whole time, we're doing the same thing, getting even more clarity on our offer, growing our audience consistently. So 4 steps, really it's 3 steps, right? You get clarity on your offer and messaging, you grow your audience, and then you sell it. And then you just continue to do that. What happens is people go off into the ether and they're like, you know what, it didn't work the first time, so I'm going to launch something else. Or, you know, people didn't buy this thing, so let me completely change my messaging or let me completely change my niche, instead of just sticking with what works and actually implementing it in a way where you can get valuable feedback, when you can understand from your audience what they actually want, what they're willing to pay for. And the cool part about this too is when you run that beta offer, not only are you getting feedback, but you're getting testimonials. So then the next time that you launch that program, you are able to launch with testimonials, with social proof, and with results that you've gotten for your clients. All right, so let's do some math and you'll understand why I really feel like you should not do low ticket, especially if you're just trying to hit that 10K month mark. It's going to take you forever in order to do it. If you are constantly creating something new, if you are constantly launching things that are like $100 or $200, like obviously there's upsells, downsells, and all of that kind of stuff you can do, but I wanted to keep it really simple for you. So if you chose a $500 offer, that means you would need 20 people to say yes. That equals $10,000. Your audience size, in order to hit that based on a 2% conversion, is, I would say, 1,000 to 1,500 people. 1,000 to 1,500 people active. So 1,000 to 1,500 people on an email list. 1,000 to 1,500 people. I would probably bump that up if you're just using social media, which I do not recommend, but your audience size needs to be 1,000 to 1,500 people engaged. That's not a lot of people. It might seem like a lot to you if you haven't started building your audience, but truly there are people that have lists of 20,000, 50,000, 200,000 people, and you just want to go for 1,000. So you don't even need a big list in order to hit that 10K month. Now let's go to a $2,000 offer. For a $2,000 offer, you only need 5 people to say yes, and that equals $10,000. Now for that, you only need an audience size of 500. So you need less people, which is great. So you don't need a big audience. You don't need to have like something super high ticket, but you just need to be really strategic about how you're going to get this in. Now, let's just say that was an example of if those people all paid in full, right? Now, let's just say we offer a payment plan on that $2,000 offer. We enroll 10 people on the payment plan, and they're paying you $500 a month for the next 4 months. That means you've got $5,000 per month locked in for the next 4 months. What's that mean next month or next time you offer it again? That means that number is going to bump up to $10,000 per month, and then you just continue and you relaunch and you're always stacking the payments. So all of these people that you see that are making 100K months, making 200K months, they're making that because of payment plans. They're making that because payments are being stacked on top of each other and they're not losing momentum in what they're offering. Now, if you decide that you want to stick with a low ticket, you want to do a $100 offer, that means you need 100 people to say yes. In order for that to happen at a 2% conversion rate, which is high actually, because our industry average conversion rate is just 1%. So I'm giving you a little grace here, expecting that your conversion rate is going to be higher. That means you need an audience of 5,000 people. So in order to get 100 people to say yes, you need an audience of 5,000 people. Now, obviously, you can have a higher conversion rate, but you still need a way bigger audience in order to get 100 people to say yes to a $100 offer, which would equal $10,000. And not only that, but you will need to repeat this every single month. That means 100 new people every single month. This is why I do not recommend your low ticket until you actually have an audience of people that want to buy. So once you get your list to 5,000, once you get your list to 10,000 and you know 100 people are going to say yes, I would actually recommend doing a $100 membership. You have a $100 membership, you have 100 people in there, that's $10,000 a month, recurring every month. Now, last thing is there is no mastery when you're reinventing the wheel and launching something new every month. I know this from experience. I'm super creative. I'm super multi-passionate. I've always kind of went with the flow in, let me just create something new. Let me just create something new. And where that actually came from is the fact that my audience wasn't growing. So I felt like in order to keep my audience enticed, in order to keep my audience interested, I had to launch something new in order to maintain that. Whereas if you have the mindset of my audience is constantly growing, the new people that are coming in don't need something new all the time. They need what you have, what you've mastered, where you've gotten your clients' results. Now, this does not mean that you don't sell anything else and you don't have multiple offers. What it means is that get your business to a sustainable income first and then move on to something else. This could be your baseline with this type of offer, minimum baseline 10K a month, and then you launch something else that maybe brings in 5K a month, another 10K a month, 15K a month, 20K a month. But in order to hit that first 10K, you really want to just stay focused. You want to keep it really, really simple. You want to focus on that mid-tier ticket offer and then continuously grow your audience so you actually have people to sell to. Pretty simple, pretty easy. This is not rocket science, but like I said, we overcomplicate it and we make it way more difficult than it has to be. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this gives you food for thought in your first milestone or your next milestone as you round out the year and you are going into a brand new year with brand new vision and a brand new strategy. Think about this. Get rid of the low ticket stuff until you have a decent audience size, until you have stability in your income. Then you can do whatever you want.